Hello everyone, welcome to the last mini lecture of Module 10. In the previous mini lectures, we've studied writing descriptors of level A1 and A2. And now we will look at different pieces of writing by our students to decide if they are at level A1 or A2. Before we start, do you still remember the keywords of level A1 and A2? What are they? There's not much that learners at level A1 can do, right? Generally, they can write a simple postcard, numbers and dates, fill out very simple forms, including information such as their own name, nationality, address, age, date of birth. They can write simple phrases and sentences about themselves and imaginary people. What about learners at level A2? They can write simple personal letters and also simple notes and messages. Besides, they can write a series of simple phrases and sentences, short simple biographies and poems about their family, living conditions, educational background, and job. Keywords in A2 statements are linked sentences about everyday aspects and short basic descriptions. Possible topics are people, places, job, study, events, past activities, and personal experiences. Now, let's move on to some sample writing to see what level they are. Take a look at the given task first. The student is required to write an email to his or her English friend named Pat to tell Pat about a sports club he or she has joined recently. Now we will look at several responses to this task. Read the two responses and write down your opinion. Do you think these students are at level A1 or A2? Well, in my opinion, the first response is an excellent writing at level A2. Why? Because the writer shows a very good attempt at task. All three elements of the passage are fully communicated. No effort is required of the reader. There are some mistakes like a new sport club, it don't cost anything, but these are minor. What about the second response? Well, compared with the first one, it is clearly not as good, right? There is a poor attempt at task. Very little of the message is communicated. There are a lot of grammatical mistakes. So I think this writing is only at level A1. It is written by a student who is just beginning to learn English. Now, let's look at another task and the response that follows. What do you think about this writing? Is it at level A1 or A2? Yeah, I guess you have the same opinion as mine. This writing is at A2 definitely. The student responds very well to the task. He or she describes the shopping center in detail. He or she can also make comparisons. All the ideas are clearly communicated. No effort is required of the reader. There are some minor mistakes in grammar and spelling, but these are non-impeding. So, this is an A2 writing, but is it a strong A2? I think no. Only if the student can correct the mistakes like favorite, nicer, it is the best cinema, then he or she can be considered at level A2 high. Let's move on to other pieces of writing. First, look at the task. Now, read all the responses to this task. Please give your opinion about which level each piece belongs to and the reasons why. Then rank them in the order from 1 to 5, 1 being the best and 5 being the poorest. Now, let's compare your ideas with mine. We will start with the rankings first. The best one is sample 1, then sample 2, sample 3, sample 5, and the poorest one is sample 4. Do you have the same result? Look at sample 1. All parts of the task are fully covered. The writer mentions the time, the name of the DVD he wants to watch, and also the food. He has good control of language. This writing well deserves to be at level A2, don't you think? I would say this writing is A2+. The second sample is also a very good piece rate. The writer includes all 3 parts of the task in his or her response. He or she has fairly good control of language, despite some mistakes like I arrive at 2:30 or I want to watch Titanic because it's interesting and nice. The eggs are hamburgers. So I think this writing is A2. The third sample, the writer completes only 2 parts of the task, which are about the film and food, but the information about what time to come is missing. This writer has adequate control of language, since he makes mistakes in grammar and spelling, like popcorns, cola with K, chips, sandwich. So he can also be considered at level A2, but it is an A2-, meaning he barely reaches A2. Sample 5. This writer has very good control of language, but the problem is he doesn't address the task. The only information he answers is about the film, and he misses on the other 2 questions. Such a pity, don't you think? He doesn't make mistakes in the language, but I'd also give him an A2-, still ranks lower than sample 3 because his level of task fulfillment is poorer. The last one, sample 4, the level of task fulfillment is minimal and people have to reread to get what the student wants to say. I'd say this is an A1 learner. So we have looked at several samples to assess and to make you more familiar with A1 and A2 levels. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.